Okay, so, AGL Bardock fucking sucks. No, I'm just kidding. He's kind of decent. He doesn't come out for a couple days, so I just thought I'd do this. Sit here and calc this bucko. I've been getting more and more interested in the numbers and stuff of Dokkan, so, I decided to do this. Here's his, kit, if you haven't seen it, but I mean, it's old, so you probably have, right? I hope so. Please! So as we can see, he kind of builds up like, 100k-ish per super attack, that's decent. I don't know, man, but stacking on its own is starting to mean less and less if you don't have like, guard or dodge or those type of things, types of abilities that will, protect the team or give you some sort of added value outside of just stacking. We're not, in 2020 anymore. Stacking's just not the end-all be-all. But yeah, here are his numbers up to 20 super attacks. I mean, he's okay, right? Stacks decently fast. Here's Super Saiyan, he's boom, right here, right? Assuming this amount of assuming this number of pre-transformation super attacks, because he stacks, but obviously he doesn't stack in Super Saiyan. So he can get up there, right? I mean, I assume most fights are like we can assume that Broly, the Boss Rush, Gogeta, Cell Max are, roughly about 10 to 15 turn fights, whereas Beast is a little bit shorter, but, it is what it is. So I decided to do his little, his numbers against these bosses. But, I mean, assuming these are right? I mean, I'm not perfect, man. I could be making some mistakes. So take the numbers with a bit of a grain of salt, but since I'm perfect and don't make mistakes, they're probably right, yeah? Anyways, if we go over to these bosses, you can see he's doing decently against them. We can start with AGL Broly, who does, he does his 1 million attack normals and his 3 million super attack. Assuming, I think I did 8 super attacks with these calculations. So he's obviously, double-digit tanking his normals. He's taking about 1 million from his super attack, which, I mean, if you get supered with this guy, you get caught, you're just dead. There's tough titties. Better luck next run. But I mean, we can easily change these numbers. I mean, Bardock, from basically like 2 supers, I'd imagine is like double-digit tanking, right? No, I mean, I guess not. I mean, we do got to keep in mind that he has a horrible double super mechanic, right? This, you might as well just not even say it's a thing, right? The only two relevant low-class warriors, goddamn if I could speak, are what, GT Goku? Not GT Goku, physical Path to Power Kid Goku and World Tournament Goku, and that's basically it, right? I mean, these are probably unrealistic. You'd probably have around like, what, 5 super attacks, and he's already double-digit tanking from there, which is pretty good. Obviously, the super attack is obviously where we get to, questionable spots. Since he's type neutral against him, it just creates a bit of a calamity for the brother. I mean, this right here is assuming 8 super attacks, which, I mean, I'd say is possible, but it might be a little bit on the higher end, because you're probably not going to be double supering. I mean, even with 20 additional, which you could give this guy, he only has about a, 10% chance to additional super attack? No, 20%, my bad, my mistake. Because you get 2% chance to additional per level of additional you have, and then it's a 50-50 of whether it's a normal attack or a super attack, so a 20% chance. So you have about a 10% chance to additional super on each given turn? Triple super, I mean, not additional super. Assuming you're running this guy with like World Tournament Goku, I guess. Speaking of, these defensive calcs are assuming, for base are assuming that he has all his defensive links active, which he could get with base STR Vegeta, so I don't think it's super unrealistic. Those links being experienced fighters prepared for battle in the Saiyan lineage. Either way, I think it's pretty safe to say that he is not going to be doing anything against, Broly's super attacks. I mean, if he gets supered, you're dead. I mean, we can just boom to that. 1.4 million with just 5 super attacks? Nah. It would take, what, 19 super attacks before he's double-digit tanking? Like, nah, yeah, you're just not getting there. which is fine. I mean, I don't think anybody expected, Bardock to be double-digit taking Broly's super attack anyway. Against Cellmax, he's a little bit more favorable because he's obviously got type advantage. Assuming he's, got 8 super attacks, he'll basically be taking double digits for normals, and he'll be taking about 240k, give or take, because of variance and stuff like that, on his super attack. Which isn't bad. I'd say that's pretty decent. Obviously, with like 10 super attacks, he'd be, down to 100. I assume probably about 11 is, would you get to double digits? No? Okay. 12 maybe? Yeah, 12 it looks like. No, I'm mistaken. 13 super attacks it looks like it takes for him to start double digit tanking, which is fine. It's fine. Are you going to get there? God, no. Realistically, if you're running a team that's like capable of beating one of these bosses, you're just not going to be able to get, go through the event slow enough to get him up to these upper echelons of defense. Plus, are you going to be leaving this guy in rotation? Probably not. I don't think Bardock's probably going to be a rotation unit, which might, potentially affect these numbers and make that, harder to build up to. Because if you're not, if he's obviously not on rotation, you got an extra turn to get to him the next time, aka slower stacking. Be that as it may, he'll still pretty decent against Cellmax, right? I don't think that these super attack effects buff their super attack damage themselves. I could be mistaken, but I don't think so. I'm pretty sure it just buffs their normals, no? Which is why, I have these numbers instead of, buffed up other, super attack effects or whatever. But that could also be wrong, because I don't think that's how it works with units of your own, right? For example, like AGL Blue Gogeta, who gets attack and defense for multiple turns. I believe his attack buffs works right away. So I could be wrong. I mean, I could be wrong. But I mean, if I'm wrong and these numbers do, oh my god, he's going to get blasted. It will not be good. I mean, here's Blue Gogeta though. I mean, Gogeta, post super, he just does 1.8 million in his normals, right? 100% buff, 900k times 2, 1.8 million. He will be, double digit tanking them because he's got type advantage, which is good for him. This was with also 8 super attacks. I feel like with Gogeta, it's definitely a lot easier to imagine, 8 super attacks because of how long his event is, right? He's a lot longer than Cellmax. Not quite as long as I think the movie Boss Rush with Broly, but still pretty long. And then on his super attack, because he's got class advantage, super unit being attacked by a super unit, so you just take a little bit of less damage. You could get that down to what, 217,000, which is pretty decent, give or take, because of variance. Looks like you still need about 13 super attacks to double digit tank him on his super attack, but it's not bad at all, I would say. He'll be pretty decent for this fight as well. Now Beast is a little bit of a different story. Obviously Beast Gohan doesn't hit super hard on his normal attacks. Well, he hits hard, but nowhere near as hard as Gogeta and Cellmax and Broly. Well, he hits relative to Broly, I guess. Right? I mean, he's 700k, but he's buffing himself by 30%. So that's about 900k on his normals. Interesting that it says greatly raise attack for 1 turn, but it's only a 30% buff. Okay. He's not going to struggle so much as to take double digits from his normal attacks. Between his decent damage reduction, 36%, and his post super, defense. These calcs are all assuming, he's super attacked first. If he doesn't get super attacked first, he'll be taking a bit more damage. But since he's not type advantage against him, he will be taking a good bit of damage from his super attack. To not really anybody's surprise, I would assume. I mean, we could just, change some numbers around. Since I think it's fair to say that, you could be potentially nowhere near 8 super attacks by the time you get to this guy. Because his event's so much shorter. So, let's say you got 5 super attacks. You're going to be taking a lot more damage from that super. That's, potential just instant death. Even if it's post-super, right? And if it's pre-super, you're basically just Boned, my friend. You're boned. And, you know, keep in mind that Beast is a little cuck and he guaranteed locks somebody. So if you're floating this guy, you know, and, you know, you get caught, you're dead. You're basically just dead. Unless you get that 18% dodge chance or you... Oh, boy. But yeah, that's Bardock. He's alright. You know, let me know what you guys think about... Okay. Let me know what you guys think about his EZA. And that's gonna do it for me. Thanks for stopping by.